Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel as we approach getting up to about 1850, 1900 of these. Hopefully, get to 2,000 audios by the end of September. That's the goal. I would like to get to 3,000, 3,500 by the end of the year, but don't know how that'll go. Anyway, we move to Dominic DeNucci and his opponent for the April 18th, 1981 edition of All Star Wrestling here. This is our All Star Wrestling series, and we are going through these episodically for your listening pleasure. And again, we open with none other than the uh, wonder that is the hosted by Vince McMahon, Pat Patterson, of course. McMahon conducting an interview with Sergeant Slaughter and the Grand Wizard, who continues to boast that they would offer $10,000 to any man who could break the Cobra Clutch. Killer Khan with Fred Blassie defeating Dominic DeNucci. 7:41 after Khan sends DeNucci out to the floor with a knee smash. This is probably one of, if not the, most consistent, most strongest pushes for a guy in the area at the time with Killer Khan. Khan, of course, having been protected for a little bit. Very punch kick orientated, obviously. Khan's not going to be a guy who is, necessarily moving in the direction of having 5-star matches. But Khan, of course, being managed by Freddie Blassie, they seem to be going back and forth on how heavily they want to push the guy. And they seem to be kind of vacillating between, yes, he's a major star, and no, he's a medium star. But it's there, and you can definitely see kind of the outlay, for lack of better term, with moving forward in that general direction there. Um, you know, kind of getting a good run, as it were, kind of trying to get, anyway, a good run out of Killer Khan. Khan, of course, being the man to lay out Andre the Giant at this time, around this time period. And again, having that run is a pretty big deal. Khan kind of choking up on DeNucci, managing to get as much of a match out of him as he can without necessarily breaking his style or the stylistic nature of how he wants to move forward. Then we kind of see, you know, we kind of see things going pretty basic and punch kick roll along the way. Hard shots by DeNucci. DeNucci managing to do everything he possibly can and kind of going in that direction there. And we kind of see, Blassie happy with his man getting the countout victory. But obviously, Blassie takes a couple of shots from DeNucci on the outside. Of course, they have a longer term dealing with each other since DeNucci's been with the company pretty a long time. Then we see continuation of, I guess you'd say, I don't know that I'd want to say different style matches, but a little bit different in that Yoshiatsu fights Larry Sharp to a 10-minute draw. 9/11 is shown. Yatsu and Sharp bring a different style match than is average for the time period, for lack of a better term, and we kind of see, a go forward there. Um, and both guys are pretty evenly matched when it comes to technical prowess. Of course, Sharp at the time going to Japan. Now think about that. Going to Japan in the early 80s, Japanese wrestling, of course, hitting the States and Canada probably around 83 to 85, 86. So obviously Mike Sharp, a major early adopter, unless you're a main event guy that Inoki or Baba would have scouted at the time. Anyway, arm ringers and arm bars by Yatsu, takedown by Sharp. Sharp trying to get things going to the best of his ability. managing to tie up on his man as simple as possible there, and dropping the elbows right across the neck and such of his adversary here. Not exactly getting everything he wants out of things, but managing to get, I wouldn't say almost enough, but very much close to enough in that regard. Anyway, we see Sharp not wanting to take a backward step, Sharp not wanting to do anything um, until absolutely necessary, and then does manage to beg off. A couple of Irish whips, both guys trading nerve holds at various points. Sharp sidestepping a running Yatsu in the corner, and again, time limit draw is the result of the match. Sergeant Slaughter once again complaining about the Gomer pile chance, as well as the fact that no one has beaten his Cobra Clutch challenge as of yet. Of course, Sergeant Slaughter is kind of conveniently sidestepping Pat Patterson and that involvement. Vince McMahon tries to point this out, doesn't get too far with that tandem in terms of pointing that out. So, Slaughter goes into the ring with his next opponent. That opponent happening to be let's see here, Grand Wizard, along with him, defeating Charlie Brown, punch kick, gut buster, and a very basic style of Slaughter holding onto the arm. Brown fights back a little bit, doesn't get a whole heck of a lot on it, not that you'd expect him to, but anyhow. Then we kind of move into that match being over, of course, Slaughter winning with the Cobra Clutch, basic stuff, but the Cobra Clutch still over as a major hold. Second to last match of the day, as we see Intercontinental Champion Johnny Roz defeating, Intercontinental Champion Pedro Morales. Let me get that correct. Defeating Johnny Roz 7:30 in an untitled match with an inside cradle. Morales, still your Intercontinental Champion at the time, also still being treated like a major star, being the secondary champion, but also just because he's kind of, I don't know, sort of a guy who you don't necessarily want to go backwards with too far, but at the same time, you see a little bit of kind of that backward motion in an interesting way there. You know, Morales, not a guy that wants to waste a whole ton of emotion in there. Morales also punch kick, arm bars, arm locks, and the like. Fans still loving him because they are playing a northeastern market where ethnicities, Italian and other ethnicities, including Puerto Rican, Latin American in general, are and the Hispanic culture pretty heavy at the time. And Pedro is obviously capitalizing on that also as a former world champion, able to capitalize on his history as well. Knee to the midsection and taking Roz down, getting everything he can out of the situation. And then we see Morales managing to get things going his way. Couple of punches, a couple of missed punches actually, as Morales doesn't get everything he wants out of things here, but manages to do the best of his, or to the best of his ability, as it were. Morales not particularly happy, but gets the inside cradle victory and very little interruption, as it were. So, Angelo Mosca with Captain Lou Albano. Mosca sending his guy into the top turnbuckle for a couple buckle smashes along the way. Irish whip back elbow by Mosca. Mosca not exactly liking the situation he finds himself in completely, but it's here, it's there, it's everywhere. Mosca then manages to continue the brawl a little bit, and getting what he wants out of the brawl, so to speak, and managing to cinch things up and ultimately, right under the chin and getting things going in that general direction. So anyway, Mosca gets a victory and a pretty reasonable one at that time. In any event, we'll move on to the next in the series. Till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.